Hi, my name is Lori Fontanes, and I live in an ordinary suburban house with a large backyard that used to look like this. Lawn, 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 oh, and lawn. But not for long. On this quarter-acre plot in Rye, New York, we've grown more than 40 different crops, everything from ornamental and broom corn, pumpkins and other squash, to the usual suspects, tomatoes, eggplant, cucumbers, peppers and herbs, as well as cover crops such as winter rye, peas, and tillage radish, and, of course, our heritage ducks.
Okay, girl, how are you going to get out of there now?
Today we're going to talk about a few things you can do to make your home a healthy place for people, plants, and animals. As it turns out, what's good for pollinators is also good for growing food, and what's great for butterflies and bees is a wonderful way to protect our planet. Your home, no matter how big or small, is also a four-season habitat for many living things. If you want to provide a healthy habitat, it's good to think in terms of year-round support. Let's take a closer look at what we do on our little farm. When we bought the property, we planted plenty of early flowering shrubs and trees, like serviceberry, magnolia, pear, and peach trees, in addition to the existing ornamental cherry. I also have naturalized crocus that we planted right into the lawn, a very cheerful way to welcome the insects back to our home each spring. Spring is when we gently get the beds back into shape for planting, but not too early. The wild bee queens and other creatures may have been using the beds as winter shelter. Try to wait until it's fully warmed up before disturbing the soil and the leaves. In general, I use a no-till technique, even on my small farm, and find it provides better yields, even in planters and raised beds. Spring is also when we succession plant radishes and start peas and beets, as well as lettuce and spinach seedlings. Our perennial chives provide the first veggie flowers of the season, delicious in vinegar and salads. If you get an early heat and your veggies go to seed, don't despair. You may not get to eat those particular plants, but the insects will be happy for the flowers they provide. If you've chosen native plants and provided good habitat, you'll be rewarded with plenty of pollinators that will come by and help your veggies grow better. Pro tip: if you want fantastic tomatoes, make sure you have lots of bee-friendly flowering plants nearby. It sounds a little racy, but tomatoes prefer to be buzz-pollinated. The bee gets the flower to open up and release its pollen. I told you it was racy. Just nature's way to help tomato plants produce better fruit. I plant different things each year, but sunflowers are the hands-down favorite for many creatures. The centerpiece is this large circular plot in a full sun location right in the middle of the yard. It acts like a landing strip for any critters that are looking for a friendly home in a sea of pesticide-treated properties. Ah, suburbia. Pumpkins and other kinds of squash are my favorite vegetables to grow. Not so much for us to eat, but to attract a really cute insect, the squash bee. I have no idea where they come from. As far as I know, no one else grows pumpkins on purpose around here. But if you grow them, the squash bee will come. Boy, are they happy campers when I just let the pumpkins take over the beds. Things don't have to slow down in the fall. Just keep those blooms going. You may see some swallowtail caterpillars munching on your parsley. Let them, it'll grow back. I love to see the migrating butterflies come through our yard on their long journey, and watch the bumblebees dancing on the sedum. As the leaves come down, we rake them into the ornamental beds to protect the soil and provide winter shelter for critters. We can also plant cover crops now, which will also protect the soil and add nutrition for next year's plants. This is also when I move the old straw bales from the duck pen perimeter and place them on top of the vegetable beds, especially good for heavy feeder crops like cabbages and corn. It may seem quiet in winter, but the garden is merely sleeping. If we're lucky to get some big storms, snow provides insulation and nitrogen for the soil. I never use any salt or chemical deicers in or near the yard to protect the garden and the ducks. Winter is also a great time to make plans based on what you learned from the previous planting season. You can order supplies, including things like clover seed, to fill in any bare areas on your lawn with a more soil and pollinator-friendly plant. So remember, when you're growing a garden, it's not just for you, it's for a lot of other living things as well, living and eating together in harmony. Well, most of the time.
Okay, Puff, what exactly is going on here with the monsters?